Oh my god, you guys, I'm sure you already know how I am feeling right now, but this Jakku General Hospital raid is insane. Although this bit of it has been more battle oriented, it is incredibly hype and incredibly baffling as to how far Horikoshi has gone with this particular turn of events. I am taken aback by how excited I am to see the proceedings of this. I mean, you know that a chapter is some heat when your first thought is, I cannot wait to see this animated. Now, to kick things off, we have Crust in our very first demonstration of his quirk Shield in action. Now, not so surprisingly, Crust is considered to be the shield hero because his quirk allows him to manifest shields anywhere on his body, which doesn't seem to be a very complicated quirk, but I feel like that might work in its favor. It's simple and pretty straightforward for the most part, but really cool and pretty damn versatile if I'm imagining it right. At the moment, he is attempting to make his way to Mirko, but he is being stalled by the fat High-End. And for right now at least, it looks like they are at a stalemate. Now, right after this showing, we have a bit of an explanation in regards to the Nomu. Now, I don't know how necessary this really was. I felt like this was stuff that we already knew, and I'm assuming that this is to simply benchmark how credible of a threat these Nomu stand to be. And following this distinction, we have the doctor talking to himself, once again talking about how difficult it is to do what he has done, and how he meticulously selected villains with a disposition for combat. And so I suppose that in essence narrows down the potential pool of candidates of whom these Nomu may have once been, which should help some people in the theory crafting department. And from there, the doctor continues on, this time referring to the readiness of these High-Ends. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I am quite thoroughly disappointed in this department. Granted, things can certainly change and further develop from here on out, but the simple fact that the High-End Nomus and their absurd power and potential has essentially been hyped up for all this time since we first met Hood, for us to now be told that they can't play at 100% is pretty disappointing. It is a letdown, I can't lie. I mean, Hood alone was enough to go toe to toe and even topple the #1 hero, because if Hawks was not there, Endeavor would be cooked. Endeavor would be done. And of course from that, we all knew the High-Ends were something fierce, that they were something to be feared simply because they were that powerful, and there were that many of them. But now to know that there are only so many of them capable of fighting, and even then we're not going to be able to see them at 100%, is a letdown, at least for me. I don't know how you guys feel. Please let me know in the comments. Hopefully I'm not the only one who feels this way, because like, I love the villains of this story, and the fact that these Nomu aren't just mind dead zombies is really cool. The concept of these multi-quirked creatures just being all ravenous and just wanting pure unbridled destruction while also actually having personalities about them sounds really damn cool. So to now have what is effectively a nerfed version of them going on and about is lame. It's lame as opposed to what we could have had. But disappointment aside, we actually get a closer look at Shigaraki. Shigaraki Tomura, his stabilization has gone from 70% to 71%. And just as we theorized in a previous video, Shigaraki Tomura is actually donning an attire very similar to that of Gigantomachia. And this is substantial for a number of reasons, so I highly suggest that you check that video out once you're done with this one. But surprisingly, somehow, Shigaraki isn't even the hype of this chapter, because Mirko is here to play. Mirko has apparently superhuman hearing as well as all the other abilities that she has, and was really excited to know that the doctor is still in the building. Now, these High-Ends are genuinely surprised that Mirko is still alive. I guess overestimating their own capabilities here, because Mirko is not someone who is easy to put down, as she apparently offset the impact with her legs. Now, I feel like we already knew this before, but her quirk is rabbit and she can do anything that a rabbit can do and more. So superhuman hearing makes sense with those big ears, I guess. And I really admire Mirko, and more than the way that you're assuming. Like, this is a character that quite obviously enjoys the heat of battle. She loves a fierce fight, but even still, she knows what her objective is and she knows what her job is, and disregards the high-ends, goes straight past them and charges straight after the doctor. So despite, what her cravings may be, she still sticks to her guns and plays the hero part, which is amazing. It is very admirable because there are definitely characters who don't abide by that same brand of logic. But these high ends are definitely not about to let her do whatever she wants here, so they try to stop her in her tracks, and she cannot be contained. I love this woman, I'm telling you. She is just going blow for blow with these things, and her blows are hitting. Maybe not as severely as she would like them to, but still, she is fighting against multiple targets at once. For her to even be avoiding them while also landing hits is pretty damn impressive. And speaking of impressive, while this talkative Crimson Chin looking high-end is over here talking crazy at long range and warping space where her arm is and twisting it, she does not care. She still is landing powerful blows against these creatures. She definitely exclaims how painful it is, but does not flinch even a little bit. She still goes with devastating impact, to the point where Crimson Chin is over here surprised that she's not afraid to keep it going, keep it pushing, and run at him. And obviously Mirko is over here playing a fighting game because she is talking about how this zoner is over here just being impatient with his spacing and attacking from a distance. So obviously his weak point is close up, and that is a specialty of hers. So she pulls up in this man's face, and just like so many of you have asked for in the comments, crushes his head between her thighs as he attempts to blast off some laser eye beams or whatever, and mocks him as she rips his head off of his shoulders and plows it into the gravel. And with that, there is one less High-End Nomu in the world. And without wasting any time, Mirko goes on to use her hair as a binding to stop the bleeding from what was once her arm. And further goes on to say that if the only way to stop them is by crushing their heads, then hey, her job is easy because she always has to hold back against these villains, to be a hero. But now she just gets to destroy these creatures. So she is happy. She's here licking the blood off and smiling. She has been smiling throughout this entire thing. Despite all the pain, she is smiling. This is a savage. I mean, you can't tell me anything. This character, Mirko, is most definitely the most savage hero in My Hero Academia, hands down. And as sad as I am that my baby lost an arm, even still, before I was very afraid that she was going to die in this fight, but now that she's lost an arm, I feel a bit more reassured simply because of what's typical of a shonen story. Like, once you lose an arm, you're kind of safe, at least in that same fight. So I do feel a bit more reassured. It's sad that she lost an arm here, but she's more of a kicker, so I don't think that this will impede her abilities as much. But hey, I love her regardless. I probably actually love her even more after this. But to end the chapter off, we have a bit from Skeptic, who is losing his mind with fear because apparently the villains are screwed, as he has just now recognized the threat of heroes attacking their base of operations here. And Twice and Hawks are nowhere to be found, but it's because of them that this situation is the case. Maybe Twice used his quirk on Hawks and that allowed a leakage of information, whatever, I don't know. But all I do know is that the heroes are here and the war seems to be properly beginning now. So all around, very exciting stuff happening here. Very, very hype, very major chapter, very incredible action here. I'm blown away. I am very happy with what we got. Besides the fact of, the high ends being a little nerfed, but whatever. Hopefully you guys felt similarly to how I did with this chapter and you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments and let me know how you're feeling about Mirko. And speaking of, I know that I've been pronouncing her name incorrectly previously, but Mirko just sounds a bit right to me. I tried saying Mirko. It's still a little bit of an adjustment period, so bear with me if pronunciations really bother you that much. But yeah, if you did enjoy the video and are looking for even more of some of the best My Hero Academia content on the platform, Plot Armor has you covered. As always, I am Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.